What's up, folks? I'm Private Hudson, and today I'm gonna be talking about Diablo Immortal. Now, Diablo has a very special place in my heart. I played the original one when I was a kid back in 1998. I didn't own a copy at the time, but I did play it somewhere once. It blew me away. It was dark, violent, and scary, and sure, Doom was like that too, but Diablo was from an isometric perspective, and it had a story, NPCs, gear, a leveling system, and guess what? It still works in Windows 10. This is my own recorded footage from my personal copy. I didn't have to tweak anything to get it to work, but I did install the 1.09 patch just in case. When Diablo 2 was released, I got it 2 months after it came out. I sat glued to it for months, if not years. It improved a lot over the original with its huge open maps and side areas. No longer are you going further and further down a dungeon, here you're traveling across the world. And this too works perfectly fine in Windows 10. Not only that, but you can enter your CD key on Blizzard's website to download a digital copy, which does not require having a CD in your drive. Ladder play is still supported, and there are still quite a few people online playing it. Then, Diablo 3 came out, and all I have to say about that game is Blackthorn's boots, Blackthorn's boots, Blackthorn's boots. What a piece of shit this game was. Gone was the dark, atmospheric, minimalistic storytelling of the previous games. Instead, we get a game that looks just as colorful and cartoony as fucking Torchlight. Everything was simplified, the environments were small, linear, and boring. There was no satisfaction in the combat and the story. My god, the villains in this game just don't stop talking. It really felt like a Saturday morning cartoon for children. You make some slight progress towards the main quest and bam, the villain shows up and
Haha, you may have foiled my plan here, but this was just a ruse. The real place where I'm doing my evil is actually over at...
proceeds to give you the exact coordinates of the location.
But you'll never get there.
While you were on your hero's errand here, I captured all 3 sword pieces and your friends.
Honestly, the best part of vanilla Diablo 3 was just watching Crow stream. It took a while, but I will say Diablo 3 did become a good game once they got rid of Jay Wilson, the auction house, released the Loot 2.0 patch, and the Reaper of Souls expansion. Not only was this new act darker and better written, but it also had larger environments with greater monster density. The side quests for your companions were a nice addition. Most importantly, we had an actual endgame with Paragon levels, bounties, and rifts. No longer were you forced to keep farming keeps 2 repeatedly in hopes of getting a new legendary item. I'll briefly mention Diablo 2 Resurrected, since it wasn't technically handled by Blizzard but by Vicarious Visions, and they did a phenomenal job here. It's mostly a graphical overhaul of Diablo 2, but it does have some quality of life changes that are optional. They are optional just in case you're a purist who likes to click on gold to pick it up instead of having it get picked up automatically. And now, we have Diablo Immortal. As you can see, I have a long and treasured history with this series, so in this video, I'm going to be using a lot of vulgar language. I'm apologizing in advance. I've been toning down the vulgarity for the past few years, but everyone has a breaking point. And this was mine. I also have to warn you that this review will not be formatted very well. There is a script here, but it's mostly a stream of consciousness that may not be structured in an optimal way. But fuck it. Let's begin. I started playing Diablo Immortal the day it came out. It launched on mobile a day before PC, so I downloaded it on my phone. You guys have phones, right? I don't really have a way of capturing Android footage, so I'm using some that I found on YouTube of the mobile version. Wait, that's not Diablo Immortal. That's Endless of God. How silly of me. My mistake. I'll just show you my PC footage that I recorded instead. As you can see, it's a completely different game, different UI, different skills, different everything. How could I possibly mix up a Chinese gacha pay-to-win MMORPG with Diablo Immortal? Silly me. I will say that I don't have much footage recorded of the early game or the campaign, as I did not expect to ever make a video on this game or play it for so long. You're just gonna have to use your imagination and visualize what I'll be saying for the next few minutes. At first, I admit I was kind of liking it. The story takes place between Diablo 2 and 3, and I thought that with the likes of Jay Wilson and Chris Metzen gone from Blizzard, along with the improved writing of Reaper of Souls, that we might actually get a good story here. And hey, we get Deckard Cain back since he hasn't been killed by a stupid butterfly yet, so that's a good thing. I picked the Demon Hunter, which was my main in Diablo 3. I found it odd that my character can auto-attack and target enemies automatically, but it's a mobile game. I did like the fact that you can move and attack at the same time. Kind of felt like a twin-stick shooter, which was cool. But then things started to get a little weird, as there were arrows on the ground telling me exactly where to go, and my character was following them. So my character can automatically attack and automatically navigate. Where exactly do I, as the player, come in? I guess I have to hit a skill button every now and then during combat, I guess. Unfortunately, things quickly turned for the worse. Outside of the first town, there was an elite pack that I ran into. I killed it and then switched over to Discord to let my friends know that I just killed an elite pack. I switched back to the game, and to my horror, the mob respawned. Not only that, but a barbarian had just run past me. And that's when I realized, hey, wait a minute, this isn't Diablo. This is a shitty fucking MMORPG. And I absolutely detest MMORPGs. They're all exactly the fucking same, with generic awful fucking quests. Collect 10 beaver pelts, slaughter 20 chupacabras, collect 15 dandelions, and so on and so forth. And every time you complete one, every fucking NPC treats you, the adventurer, as the hero, and the only one who can save the land. Meanwhile, there are 100 other pricks around you doing the exact same shit you're doing, who are also getting the same "you are the chosen one" treatment. It is so immersion-breaking and completely destroys any sense of world-building when the 15 ostrich eggs that you had to collect in order to save the land magically respawn before your eyes, only to get scooped up by 30 other pricks doing the same quest as you, will get the same treatment as you and the same rewards as you. It's all just padding out the length of the game for no fucking reason, because I think, ultimately, people only play these games to hit the max level, then do raids. To me, all of this sounds pointless. And sadly, that's what Diablo Immortal is. The story is shoved in your face, just like Diablo 3's was. Nothing was fucking learned. And the game is chock full of cameos from Diablo 2 and 3. You get Charcy, Kasia, and even fucking Flavie. Remember her? The rogue that stands at the entrance to the Cold Plains? Well, this completely insignificant character gets her own events and side quests and shit. It's like whoever wrote the story pretended to have played D2 and D3 and decided to fill this game to the brim with references to both. Shit, the first main boss you fight is Leoric. Again. So you fought him in Diablo, you fought him in Diablo 3, and now you fight him again in Diablo Immortal? Why? While Diablo Immortal isn't split into acts like the previous games were, let's just pretend that it is for the sake of organization. So, the first part of this game takes place with all these undead monsters and the Fallen One enemies. You know, sounds a little bit familiar, kind of like the rogue encampment area of Diablo 2. Let's just call this bit of Diablo Immortal, let's just call this bit Act 1, right? Okay. After you defeat the Skeleton King, you're taken to Westmarch, which is the central hub of the game where all the merchants that use the game's 24 different motherfucking currencies are. You're given a rundown on rifts, and you're sent back to Act 1 to go to the Darkwood. Remember the Darkwood? I'm sure you do. Here you run into the druid from Diablo 2 who wants you to save the Tree of Incest, or whatever the fuck it's called. You remember this tree. It's the same tree that dropped the Horadric Scroll that you used to teleport and save Deckard Cain. Well, to save the Tree of Incest, the druid requires 3 things. A pangolin's penis, a spider's ballsack, and a can of surströmming from Sweden. Of course, these are all located in 3 separate areas of this Darkwood map, but just follow the arrows on the ground and you'll get them. Once you've assembled all 3 ingredients, the druid, in an unintentionally hilarious way, sacrifices his life to save the tree. And you go and you fight the boss of Act 1, who is the Countess from Diablo 2. Because why not? Why not? Why not just reuse the same fucking shit again? Once you finish this area of the game, you move on to the next one. This one, guys, surprise, it's a desert. You didn't think it would be a desert, but it is. But no, it's not Ludgo Lane. No, it's not Chaldeum. It's some other shit. Let's just, I don't know. Let's just call this part of the game. Let's just call this part of the game. Let's just call it Act 2, okay? Let's just call it Act 2. Here you're supposed to find the scepter of King Solomon or some shit, but of course it's been missing for 10,000 years and no one knows where the fuck it is. Except for that one guy in the camp who has had a map of its location this entire fucking time. But guess what, guys? Guess what? The scepter, it's broken into 3 pieces, and you need to travel to 3 different parts of the map, get them all, and super glue the scepter back together. Sensing the pattern here? Once you've done that, you end up in the library of Zoltan Kulle. Remember him? Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, you help him out a bit here, and then he sends you off to this swampy, marshy area. Again, this kind of looks familiar. It's got these little fetishes throwing shit at you. It's kind of like the Kuras docks of Diablo 2. Let's call this place, let's call it Act 3. I hope you get the fucking point here. Whoever wrote the script to this game pretended to have played Diablo 2 and 3 and basically shoved in every fucking reference and character possible, while the developers and designers reused as many assets as possible. The next area after this one is, of course, Winter Mountains, you know, Act 5 Diablo 2, and the last area is Hell, which, fine, I'll give them a break here because, you know, that's the last area of all Diablo games. But honestly, does the Land of Sanctuary not have any other fucking types of biomes? Oh, did I mention you fight the Butcher again? Back to the story here. So in Act 3, you're supposed to open a temple to fight a demon called Sargoth, but in order to do that, you have to collect 3 beacons that are... I'm fucking done here. I'm fucking done. To make matters worse, you hit a brick wall when you reach this area. You're probably going to be level 35 when you get here, and leveling is super quick at the start. You'll hit level 20 before you even reach Westmarch, but the content in Bilefen is gated off until you hit level 40. How are you supposed to do that? Well, unlike previous Diablo games, farming mobs and doing rifts is probably the worst way to get experience and level up. The best way to level up is to level up your battle pass. Up until you hit around level 55, every single time you level up your battle pass, you'll also get enough experience to level up your character. And how do you level up your battle pass? Well, you can go and replay the same dungeons you've done before and try to skip through the cutscenes, but you can't skip through the dialogue in them, or you can get accustomed to the end game and start doing your dailies. Because once you beat the campaign, hit level 60 and move on to the Hell difficulty, these dailies are going to be the only content that you have. Someone on Reddit made a nice list of actions that you should do daily in order to maximize your experience, your rewards, and your faction points, which I will get to later. People in the comments said, hey, this is like having a second full-time job. Except this one doesn't pay you. And they're right. The list ended up being a bit incomplete, and I have no idea why the user decided to photograph the screen of his computer instead of taking a fucking screenshot. Anyway, someone else created a handy GitHub page with timers that you can put checkboxes in once you complete stuff and shit, and reset them once they reset at 3 AM, I guess. Get used to these dailies because you'll hit another wall when you reach the next area, and then another when you reach the final area, and again, once you finish the game and you start grinding your Paragon levels in Hell, this is going to be the main type of content for you to consume. Let me give you a brief rundown on the factions that were probably written by some unpaid intern's 5-year-old kid. So guys, so turns out this whole time there were two protectors of Sanctuary this whole time, yet they were never mentioned in any of the 3 other games in the series, but let's not let that get in the way. Okay? So you have the Immortals, right? You got the Immortals, and then you got the Shadows, right? Right? You got the Immortals, they got this gold armor and wings and shit, and they're these protectors of humanity. Meanwhile, Shadows are there to test the Immortals, to make sure that the Immortals deserve and have earned their spot at the top. And how do they test them? How do the Shadows test the Immortals? By fucking robbing and murdering them. Makes a whole lot of fucking sense. Hey guys, I know we're both supposed to be on the same team here, we're both supposed to be protecting humanity, but I don't think you're strong enough. So what I'm gonna do is test you by fucking robbing you and then murdering you. Since I started day one, the Immortal faction was controlled by the AI, so you couldn't join it and the faction didn't really do anything. To enter the secret Shadow Society, you have to enter a lottery. It's a secret lottery. It's open 3 times a day, I think. And it gets announced server-wide when it's fucking open. You go to a bar, you grab a ticket. Real fucking secret society here. Once you get in, you go through a series of boring tutorial quests that explain the new and quote-unquote exciting features that you've unlocked now as a Shadow. You can do a contract, which is basically a shitty glorified quest, and I think you can do these 3 times a week or so. You can raid the Immortal Vault, stealing their shit, which has your party go through 3 floors of boring-ass enemies that don't drop any loot or give any XP. You can do 8 versus 8 PvP, because we all know that Diablo is known for its rich PvP history. And probably there's some other shit that I forgot. At this time, you're supposed to join a Shadow clan, and every time you accomplish some of these Shadow tasks, your clan earns points. I think every week the top clans on the server duke it out, and the winner gets a chance to challenge the Immortals. So for a few days, my evenings were kind of like this. Oh shit, guys. Guys, it's 6 p.m. Guys, the assembly hall is now open. Everyone, run there and stand like a prick. Run there, get to the assembly hall, stand like a prick. Stand like a prick for 10 minutes. Gotta get your blessings, guys. Gotta get your 4 blessings. Go make a sandwich. Go take a shit. But if you're taking a shit, don't launch this game on your phone. Go do something productive, like look at Reddit or something. And then when you're back, you should probably get your blessings. All right. Blessings are done. Next one. What's next on the list? All right, guys. Time to do my bounties, guys. Time to do my bounties. All right, guys. I have to kill 30 quill rats and collect their penises, guys. And then I have to kill 50 pirates and then pick up their doubloons. You know, shit that does not drop or exist outside of this quest. It only drops for the duration of this quest. Makes a whole lot of fucking sense. Oh yeah, I have to go kill 60 spiders in an area where they respawn every 3 fucking minutes, and there are also 15 other pricks standing around here doing the same fucking bounty as me, so we're all competing against one another. Great fucking design here, guys. Alright, bounties are done. Bounties are done, now the battlegrounds are open, and I have to go do PvP 3 times to get my daily rewards. PvP, guys. PvP, where your side stomps the other side because you have a pay-to-win whale, where your side gets stomped by the other side because they have a pay-to-win whale, where the whole fucking session freezes and you get killed by an 8-year-old from Botswana who's playing this game on an iPhone fucking 3G since the netcode is so fucking good that they decided to make PvP cross-server. PvP is pretty broken, by the way. If you're a defender, you can spawn camp the opponent and it's basically GG. Now that PvP is over, I have to do my 3 rifts, guys. I have to do my 3 rifts so I can get my 3 Aspi chests that'll only have an Aspi key. Once I've maximized the amount of Aspi keys I have to go raid the Abu Dhabi Palace, guys. The Abu Dhabi Palace. At the end of the palace, I can use my keys to open these crates and get some more fucking shit that's used to upgrade shit that I might explain later. Alright, what's left? Maybe a challenge rift, maybe some dungeon runs. I'm now level 60, I can now play on Hell and get set equipment drops from dungeons, but you can't solo them anymore. You can only solo on normal. I need at least 1 other person to join me, but a party of 4 would be preferable to maximize my potential rewards. Queue times can't be this bad for a brand new game now. Now can they, guys? Can they? Guys? Okay, moving on. Am I missing anything else? Oh yeah, let me run a vault, but I didn't record any of that footage because it was boring as fuck. What else? Oh, shadow contracts. Oh yeah, guys, let me do a shadow contract. Look at this quest. This quest is so exciting. Look at this stealth, guys. Look at this stealth. This shit here fucking rivals fucking Metal Gear. Is there anything else I can do? Oh, I've collected some pages for the Book of Horadric Bestiality. And I can turn that in. I can do that 3 times a day if I'm lucky enough to get these pages. What else? Oh, there's an adventure who gives out a quest a day, which is basically go to a zone, do 3 events, done. What else, guys? I've run out of dailies. What do I do? What do I do? And that's when you realize that this game has so many hidden caps and time gates attached to it. Once you've run out of dailies and can't level up your battle pass anymore, it's basically time to call it a night. You think you can go out and farm rifts, but you can only get around 5 to 6 legendaries a day. That's right, that's the cap. Look it up. The game has been data mined. After you hit around 6 legendaries, you'll be lucky if you get another by spending 5 hours grinding. There's also a weekly cap on how much battle pass experience you can hit in a week, as well as the amount of burning embers that you can collect from rifts. I hit both of these in about 4 days of playing. Finally, when it comes to Paragon levels, if you end up leveling up too fast and are a higher level than the server, you get hit with experience penalties. When it comes to events, the Blessing Chamber is open only once a day, Vaults are open twice a day, PvP is open I think 3 times a day, then there's some special ones that are just like once a week type of thing. And each zone has a world event or a world boss. Again, these only happen on specific days or specific times, something like that. And do you guys remember like normal gems from the previous games, like rubies, emeralds, sapphires, skulls, and shit like that? How they drop randomly when farming in previous games? Well, here they only drop in hidden layers, which open up randomly and is basically on a first come first served basis. If one party gets in and you're not in it, it closes. Sometimes I get an invite from a random person and I can collect a couple of these, but gems stop dropping after you do 2 layers, I think, maybe 3. General crafting mats that were plentiful before, oh yeah, you'll get a shitload of scrap, a decent amount of dust, but the yellow veiled crystals, those can only be obtained by completing challenger rifts. That's right, salvaging rares no longer gets you these. Incredible. I think the last thing I did as a shadow was participate in some shadow war, or maybe it was like a mock shadow war. I don't remember too much of it, but I think there were 3 battles going on at the same time, and I was in one of them. After that, I stopped playing for like 4 or 5 days. When I came back on, I noticed that things were a little different now. My character was golden. Turns out when I was gone, my clan defeated the AI-controlled Immortals, and we became the Immortals now. Like joining the Shadows, joining the Immortals fully required going through a series of quests, only this time around you could only do one of these a day. Yeah, it took 3 fucking days to go through the stupid initiation process, where again, you go through some boring fucking tutorials that explain immortal activities to you as if you're some kind of crayon eater. Once you've finally done that, you become a full-fledged immortal and get granted your immortal cosmetic, your gold armor and your wings, and now you've unlocked new daily activities to do. To max out your immortal rewards, you need to complete 9 a day. These include super interesting tasks like looking at a fucking wall and looking at a fucking statue. I'm not fucking kidding. The rest of the tasks are basically shit you already do as part of your dailies. Do 2 bounties, salvage an item, complete a dungeon or 2, real dumb shit. Oh, but since you're an immortal now, you'll be defending the vault instead of attacking it. Now that both factions are being played by actual people and not an AI, this should be interesting, right? Well guys, this is what happens, all right? So the vault is open for 2 hours, right? The Shadows attack it. They go through the first floor, right? Okay. Then they move on to the second floor and clear it, okay? Right? Then they move on to the 3rd floor and clear that. You following me so far? All right, good, because once they get to the 4th floor, that's when the Immortals get alerted, then they can go in and fight the Shadows. So what our clan does is we form up a soup line. The party leader stands in the soup line, and once the alert comes in, the guy in front of the line goes in, summons his party, and when he's done defending the vault, he goes to the back of the line. Now these guys in my clan, these are the manliest men I've ever seen in my life. These guys don't dual wield credit cards. That shit is for fucking amateurs. These guys quad wield them. I'm pretty sure the clan I'm in has a higher net worth than motherfucking Warren Buffett. And me, a lowly free-to-play player, was gratefully allowed to join one of these parties. I admit, I was nervous standing amongst these giants. And after waiting on this soup line for about 15 minutes, my party leader finally made it to the front, and we entered the battle to defend our vault. The battle, which lasted 20 fucking seconds. That's right, 20 fucking seconds. What did I get as a reward? 10 hilts. 10 fucking hilts. You know what I can do with 10 hilts? I can wipe my ass with 10 hilts. Actually, I can't. I can't even afford toilet paper with 10 fucking hilts. What happened next? Well, party leader went to the back of the line, and this process kept repeating until the event ended. Basically 2 fucking hours standing on a soup line to take turns fighting 20 seconds every 10 minutes. But these guys do it. They fucking do it. Why? Because the vault has our Essentia, whatever the fuck that is. All I know is that's used to do Keon's ordeals. I think that's what those are called. They're these big 48-person raids. And my clan arranges them and organizes them so well. The US military wish they had these fucking organization skills. People sign up in Discord. 48 people are selected. They get split into groups of 12 each. We all line up with our respective groups and attendance is taken. If someone is missing, we have subs that can come in and take their place. It's basically 20 minutes of preparation for a raid that lasts 5 minutes. Each group attacks a boss, and at the end of the fight, everyone gets a legendary item, a legendary crest, and some other shit. And then there's a random lottery for more legendary items. The more immortal activities you do, the more sigils you get, and the more sigils you donate, the stronger the immortals become. The better your weekly immortal rewards are. I picked up this reward like a week ago, and I still can't equip it because it's way above my Paragon level. And to be honest, I was stuck on Hell 1 forever. Every legendary I got was complete garbage up until I got into these Keon raids with these guys. I did 2 so far, and on the second one, I got 2 upgrades. And I was finally able to start playing on the Hell 2 difficulty, which is more of the same, except now you need a full 4-person party in order to do dungeons. Good luck with that. But again, this clan is more coordinated than the Marines and the SAS combined, so there are always people willing to party up with you for dungeons so that you can get your dailies in, which all contribute to the overall Immortal rank and your rank too, and your weekly rewards are based on your contribution level. Of course, the guys with the 8 maxed out credit cards will be on top, and it is trickled down on me daddy economics, but even I, a lowly free-to-play player, was awarded that legendary that I still can't equip for participating in, I think, only 3 days worth of activities. And this is probably the most interesting aspect of the game, this Immortal versus Shadow conflict. As stupid as the backstory behind it is, the premise is interesting since it's unbalanced and meant to be so. There can only be 3 immortal clans on a server, so there is a limit to how many immortal players there are, whereas there can be as many shadows as the server population allows. While the immortals get stronger and earn better rewards, the shadows will always outnumber them and can launch more raids on their vaults, steal more resources, and I guess ultimately sap their strength. Because without Essentia, we won't be able to do these Keon raids and get these legendaries. So I do salute these credit card warriors standing on our soup lines, defending our vaults. You guys are my heroes. Eventually, a Shadow Clan is supposed to get strong enough to challenge us and fight against us, which might prove to be interesting. But I just realized, weren't we Shadows before? The second we toppled over the Immortals and took their spot, all of a sudden, all the other Shadows hate us when we were, in harmony, killing and robbing Immortals together. And then, if you think a little deeper, if you just think a little deeper, you realize that none of this has anything to fucking do with Diablo. I'm 99% confident that this mode existed in NetEase's Endless of God and other Chinese gotcha MMORPG games. Everything has just been copied over with the Diablo skin pasted on top. So, what haven't I talked about yet? Oh, the bugs, yes, the bugs. You see, the game runs like shit on PC. It's practically flawless on mobile, depending on your phone's hardware, but on PC it's a fucking disaster. I'm pretty sure if I get a BlueStacks emulator up and running that it'll run better than this native PC client. Game crashes randomly, my character moves towards enemies when attacking them. And that doesn't just happen to me, search for it, happens to everybody. Only way to stop it is to either hold shift to stand still, or use the WASD movement keys and hold them in the opposite direction so you don't walk towards the enemy. Other bugs? Sometimes the sound just stops working. That's cool.
You are still unworthy in the eyes of your true kin. Allow me to demonstrate.
What else is there? Oh, sometimes skills don't display properly. Instead, your screen just blurs. It just blurs out, That's nice. But my favorite bug has to be the one where you can no longer attack enemies or use any skills. This generally occurs after using a channeled skill, which is super convenient for the Demon Hunter as the game's built-in second recommended build is a channeled build. It's basically unfucking usable. Sometimes mashing on random keyboard keys gets it to work again, but the only guaranteed way is to die and respawn. Thankfully, there's no fucking hardcore mode in this game. Graphical options are lacking and there are no resolution options. Seeing as how this is crossplay with mobile, there probably will never be resolution options since that will give us an advantage. I think this shit runs at 1080p at best, but it's really zoomed in and the entire UI and text interface is just fucking huge. Itemization is shit and is even further simplified than what we had in Diablo 3. Leveling up does nothing other than unlock new skills and give you access to higher level gear. Items roll with 2 stats. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can get a legendary item with 3 sets of stats. And these, legendary skills, boy. Do I want multi-shot to shoot fire or cold? Gee. Do I want sentry to do fire or cold? Such fucking diversity here. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is combat rating. This already simplified system gets simplified further into one fucking number. And that's the only number that matters. The only way to improve combat rating is to get better items, but again, I was farming Hell 1 for a week straight, and none of my drops were better than my existing gear. If I didn't have access to that Keon's raid, I probably would have never gotten strong enough to access Hell 2. If you access a higher tier difficulty, you're punished for it. Basically, if your combat rating is so much as like 20 points lower than the area you're in, expect to get killed in one hit by enemies. Also, it doesn't make any fucking sense why every zone in the difficulty is like the same difficulty, you know what I mean? Because if you play Diablo 2, if you played on Nightmare and Hell difficulties, Act 3 and 4 mobs were tougher than Act 1 mobs. So there's no reason why in Diablo Immortal, a quill rat in Hell 2 is just as fucking deadly as a fucking demonic hell spawn from the end of the fucking game. So other than trying to get new gear and upgrading it, there are a few other things you can do to increase your combat rating. Each zone has a world event or a world boss. These are pretty boring and shitty, as you have 100 pricks standing around attacking a giant monster for like 3-5 minutes until it dies. My favorite one has to be Blood Rose. It's a big ol' Venus flytrap, and once it gets down to around 2 million health, a red pool appears under it. And people who play melee characters must love eating crayons as well, because they stand in that red pool, which allows the Blood Rose to leech their health, and it goes from 2 million all the way back to 7 million. And chat during these events, it's always hilarious. It's the best. Probably the stupidest event is this undead tax collector. I don't understand the point of this. You follow a fucking carriage around and kill an occasional mob until the tax collector comes out of it and you just kill him. So fucking dumb. If this is the first time you kill these bosses, you get a vessel as a reward. These are placed in the Abu Dhabi Palace and you can upgrade them for passive stats. The resources to upgrade them can only be found at the end of this palace, which is where you use your keys to open those crates. And if you're lucky, you can get the last vessel there as a random drop from one of the crates. Finally, there's the pay-to-win aspect of the game. You see, the rifts in this game are just glorified loot boxes. If you don't use a crest and you're running a rift, you're wasting your time. At most, you'll get some embers. If you use a rare crest, which you get 1 for free a day, and you can buy a few more from the hilt vendor, then you're guaranteed to get more embers and runes. You also might get a 1 or 2 star legendary gem. Chances are pretty low. But if you use a legendary crest, then you are 100% guaranteed to get a legendary gem at the end of your run. Now, the chance that you're going to get a 5-star legendary gem is still pretty low, but this is the only way to get them from playing the game. And this is where the problem is. You can buy 1 crest from the hilt vendor a month. 1 crest a month. Other than that, you might get 1 or 2 from Battle Pass rewards, but that's it for free-to-play players. But if you take out Mr. Visa and Mr. MasterCard, you can buy as many legendary crests as you want. Now, why are these gems so powerful? Because of resonance. Resonance immediately increases the base stats of your equipment by an absurd amount. This is why I'm at 1200 combat rating, whereas people with maxed out credit cards can get over 3000. Now guys, there's still a way to get one as a free-to-play player. Those Ember shits you get for completing the rifts, you can buy runes with those. And with those runes, you can craft a random legendary gem. Again, the chance to get a 5-star gem is pretty low, but let's give it a try. Fuck, of course I get a 1-star piece of shit. But hey, don't give up. If you do your dailies every single day, you get 300 platinum as the final reward. And there's another trick I learned. If you level up a charm to rank 5 and then you extract it into a skill stone, you spend 500 plat doing so, but then you can sell that skill stone on the market for like 2,000, 2,500 plat. So at worst, you spend 500 plat to make 1,500 plat. With this strategy, you should be able to get enough plat to buy whatever gem you need from the market, right? Okay. So let me see how much these gems are. Only around 60,000 plat. I should have that in no time, right, guys? Right? Let's also not forget, if it's not a 5 out of 5 gem, you'll need to upgrade it, and the only way to upgrade it is to use other legendary gems on it. It's a ridiculous predatory cycle. Oh yeah, and anything you buy from the store is limited to your character. Cosmetics and all that shit, they're all character bound. They're not server bound. They're not account bound. They're character bound. And if you delete your character that you used real money on, that shit's gone for good. I think that covers almost everything. I think the only thing I've left out are set items. These only drop in certain specific dungeons on like specific difficulties. So say I have these Boots of Shomer Shabbos, and I need to complete the set, because look at those set bonuses. Those are amazing. When I was doing Hell 1, the only other item from this set that could have dropped for me was the belt. And I would have to do Forgotten Tower over and over and over and over and over again for a random chance that it would drop. Spoiler alert, the Shomer Shabbos belt never dropped for me. I've seen people on Reddit run a dungeon 300 times and still not get any fucking set drops. So yeah, this game is fucking bullshit. It's a Chinese pay-to-win gacha clone with a Diablo paint job on it. There's a cap on leveling, a cap on farming, a cap on how much gear and accessories can drop in a day. Items that in other games of the series would drop anywhere are now limited to specific areas and specific difficulties. It's grotesque and disgusting. All the shit is in place to basically get you to spend money. I'm sure I'm not the only one who was stuck in Hell 1 forever due to bad loot. I'm sure people with a weaker will than me decided to whip out their credit card for some legendary crests and do some runs, hoping they'd get that magical 5-star gem, which would skyrocket their resonance and in turn their combat rating so that they can farm the next level. Or you can also try this advanced farming and leveling technique. Warning, this is for professionals only. What you do is you plug your phone into a charger, right? And you put a motherfucking spoon on the motherfucking auto attack button. You come back in a few hours and you collect whatever loot dropped around you and put your Paragon points in. Don't you guys have spoons? One last thing that I'll say about Diablo Immortal is that once you beat the final boss, the game just ends. Like, the campaign ends with no fanfare or anything. No cutscene, no credits, no nothing. You're just in Westmarch thinking, what the fuck just happened? What's next? And then you realize, oh, just dailies and the Immortal versus Shadowborn, huh? With that being said, the gameplay can still be kind of fun. After all, it's just Diablo 3 again, but dumbed down and buggier. And I put years into Diablo 3. The campaign is something that I can probably never play again because it's so bad, and I'm bored to death with the bounties and rifts in that game. Sure, they add new seasons, but all that does is just add new gear and cosmetics, and I really don't care about that. Also, another good thing about Diablo Immortal is you can play this game on your phone while taking a shit, and then get back to your PC and resume your progress there, so that's a plus, right? I mean, don't you guys have phones?
And a fellow drinking peace? You drink water?